Good evening. I'm John Bailey. This is People to be Heard, the program where people who have something to say have their say. And tonight you've got Michael Welling of White Plains, New York, USA. He is co-founder of the Westchester Biotech Project, which he founded in 2017. And now, thanks in part to his efforts, biotech is touted as Westchester's future prosperity. He is an example how fate can lead one man to make a difference, as this newspaper article about his son a few years ago accounts. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and there is the article that appeared in the New York Times a number of years ago.
Yes.
And so you used to be in basically the real estate business and
so business,
yeah.
insurance, I'm still sort of
Yes,
involved in that. I'm a partner in a firm in Pelham, New York. And it does play sort of a role in all of this, but certainly my passion is the biotech community.
Right, and explain what happened to your son.
Yeah, so my son Matthew, he's 13 years old now. He's in 7th grade here in White Plains at Highlands Middle School, and at 6 months of age was diagnosed with a rare genetic condition for which there's no treatment, only the hope of a cure through a stem cell transplant. Unfortunately, we were told as new parents that the odds of finding a donor for a bone marrow transplant are slim to none. We were fortunate enough that within 10 days of his diagnosis, we got the call that a donor had been found. And on Matthew's first birthday was admitted to Sloan Kettering, where we sort of anticipated a round of chemo, this transplant, which is not what anyone thinks about, and I don't recommend people Googling it because the pictures do not tell the whole story, and thought we'd be back home to our life here in Westchester and living a normal life. And unfortunately, we ran into complications in the hospital. Matthew's first transplant failed. While we were in the hospital, we had to find another donor, which again, the odds were slim to none. Miraculously, we found a second donor. Both of these were anonymous, unrelated donors, people we didn't know and they didn't know us. Matthew had a second transplant, and after 143 consecutive days in Sloan Kettering, Matthew was discharged, and again, we're happy to say it's a happy ending story today.
Well, that's great, and this sort of opened up horizons to you.
No, that's absolutely correct. So at the time, my father and I owned a business here in Westchester, and I owned a home here in Westchester, and my world was pretty singularly focused in some of the things that I thought I was going to accomplish each day that I woke up. But after having slept 140 of the 142 nights in the hospital and spending endless 2 a.m. meetings with the doctors, asking lots of questions. I'm not a scientist by trade, I'm not a doctor by any stretch, but I ask a lot of questions. And I was sort of introduced to this world of where the art of medicine meets medical science, and realized that after saving my son's life, I needed to find a way to give back.
Right, and well, you have done that. In fact, you founded the Westchester Biotech Project only 2 years ago.
Yeah, so May of 2019 will be our 2-year anniversary that we launched it, and it's the result of really 5 or 6 years of being out there and talking with people, and there were other organizations who have come and tried to establish some role in this community, and we like to credit all of them to our success as they've tried to help build the foundation here.
Right. What were your first steps? Because you were based in Europe for a time, and this helped considerably.
Yes, absolutely. So really what happened when Matthew got out of the hospital and I went out to try and figure out a way to get involved in the medical research biotech community, and as I like to say, despite my mother still holding out hope I'm going to go to medical school, that was off the table. But I got involved initially with the National Marrow Donor Program, which is the only federally funded bone marrow donor registry out of Minnesota. I spent a lot of time traversing the country, doing news stories, TV, radio. You saw the New York Times article. And that was really my first introduction to this world of research, and quickly realized that there was a whole community right here in my backyard who was working in this space, and that's when I started focusing on Westchester.
Now, recently, we have gotten a lease on the North 60 property, which is a step in this right direction. Could you explain Westchester Biotech's role
Absolutely.
in hoping that to come about?
Absolutely. So we have no official role in the North 60 project at the moment. I don't speak for the developers or the county, of course. But,
We understand.
But of course, this is a project that we believe in strongly. We have taken every opportunity that we could to bring people together. We've organized roundtables. We've organized a task force to bring the people who have a vested interest in this project happening to the table to figure out how do we move forward with it. And as I say, I don't get involved in lease details or negotiating permits, but it is very clear and evident to us that there is a dire need here.
Yes. Now, what firms are here now executing biotech research? What is the stage of developing biotech on the ground in Westchester now?
Yep. So I'm born and raised in Westchester, and although I've had a chance to live and work around the globe, raising my family here, and I think that I know a lot of people, but I am amazed how almost on a weekly basis I'm introduced to someone that I don't know, that I've never heard of, who is involved and is working in the biotech community and lives and works right here in Westchester. So while there are some big name firms, obviously Regeneron, Contrafect, Histogenetics, Sapiens Therapeutics, Caladrius Biosciences, and I could go on, there's probably another 300-400 people who you could go meet at any platform, at any Metro North train station, who are getting on the train to go into Einstein to run a lab, who are going into the city to be an executive at a biotech company. It is amazing the community that we have here and the way that biotech business has evolved. We don't need all of these companies who are not in Westchester to relocate here to build our community. We could just have Westchester be another footprint in their global presence, and that's what I think the future is.
So what steps have to happen next to make them come on in?
Absolutely. So as I like to say, I didn't set out to solve this problem. This problem sort of found me. And we know that whether Michael Welling and the Westchester Biotech Project, if we never existed here, there's still a community here of folks who are in the biotech community who want to be working in research. One other name that I did not mention is the Burke Neurological Institute and Dr. Raj Ratan, who's doing amazing, groundbreaking clinical trials right here out of Westchester. So to the question, what do we need to do? If we did nothing, this community would still continue to thrive. But I think that if we can find a unified platform to bring them all together, have a space where they can all congregate and collaborate, we could really be set in the future for Westchester.
Could Burke expand?
So I will tell
Oh.
you again, I cannot speak for their rules and regulations. Of course, of course. But I certainly believe that the research that they're doing, there's one in particular researcher, Dr. Glenn Prusky, who's a resident here in White Plains, who does eye research, and I have spoken with about my son because he does have some visual impairments as a carryover from his diagnosis. That alone could be its own separate entity here in Westchester. So the answer is yes, and I think the options are endless.
Right. And your group recently announced signing AYA Consulting and Sophia Antopoulos to form Westchester Biotech Project Europe.
Yes.
What does this mean for the immediate future?
Well, this is really exciting, and
There's the picture.
Yeah. So no, there's a ton of opportunity there. So my co-founder in the Westchester Biotech Project, Joanne Geer, she has a saying. She's not from Westchester, but she says that Westchester is a state of mind, and that people have an affinity and a connection here even when they're not here. And our friend and our partner Philippe is a perfect example of that.
And here's a picture of him.
Yes, Philippe. So Philippe is a French national, and he works in France as we speak.
Yeah,
but
there he is.
He spent some time. There he is. Philippe spent some time with his family here in Westchester, in Rye, when he was working in the life sciences in New York City. And Philippe now runs a division of Tefin Consulting over in Europe, and he is involved with the Sophia Antopoulos facility over there. And when Philippe read about the work that we were doing here, he reached out to us and said, I think there is an opportunity for my sort of community and cohort of folks and our community to come together and collaborate. And that was really the basis for this partnership.
Yeah. Do you feel he could, how will they work together? Will it be an exchange of researchers or?
So I think
I'm just guessing.
Absolutely. So we have just announced the partnership and have started exploring. There's an endless amount of opportunity. What can happen here initially, and what's going to happen probably in the next few months is we're going to bring together a number of folks from Westchester who are involved on the research side and have some sort of interest in the European market. Philippe's going to bring together folks from his side, and we're going to have a roundtable exchange of ideas and start figuring out where can we sort of have the most impact. And we think that there's a number of ways we can do that.
On projects that
Correct.
could be started, research efforts in fields.
That's
right?
correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
And not space, for example.
That's correct, and certainly we feel that there's an opportunity here that as these discussions progress, that having a company over there have a presence over here makes total sense. If there was a place in Westchester that those folks that Philippe works with know they could come to the U.S., have a desk, have a spot, maybe engage and start to feel out the marketplace, we think that's definitely an opportunity. And I will say that there's a model here, there's a precedent, and that is New York Medical College at the Bioincubator. They've set up a similar model with a group over in Israel, and so they're already paving the way to bring people into Westchester from overseas, and we think we can duplicate that.
Okay. How long do you see this taking to get on the ground for the presence of this great organization?
Yeah,
thousands of researchers.
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I think that, and I like to keep things simple so I can sort of understand them, and I think that the immediate opportunity that we have is to bring together folks who are doing work in artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics. We think that we know that Philippe has a huge cohort of folks there who are doing work on that now. We know we have folks here, and that type of work doesn't require sophisticated laboratories. It doesn't require any type of sophisticated infrastructure. So that is something that could be done without even having to move boots on the ground.
And no natural gas.
That's
right?
correct.
Yes,
That's correct.
Yes. Well, that's important to know.
Yes, no, without question,
Right.
yes.
So, now you also have something coming up in March, your annual symposium. Could
Yes.
you explain what that's all about?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that we've just been amazed by as
There's
we
a picture
have...
of last year's.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, and there's been some amazing conversations that have come out of these events. I'll tell you that in the 22 months that the Westchester Biotech Project has been in existence, we have hosted somewhere around 30 to 35 individual events, and that includes webinars, roundtables, and these symposia. And the upcoming one on March 27th is being hosted by our partner, Westchester Community College, and their science department. And this is going to be our third installment of Innovation and Research, where we bring together people for the purpose of not just presenting their research, and for some of these people, there's no other opportunity to do so. And if you are a researcher, if you are a scientist, a data engineer, you want the opportunity to talk about the work that you do.
Like auditioning.
Exactly correct. And we love to give people that platform. And this is going to be a fascinating event. We've got some amazing people lined up, and that includes people coming in from Boston. We have someone who we're talking to right now who might come up from Philadelphia. So the people that attend these events aren't just people who are in Westchester interested in talking to other people in Westchester, but it's the opportunity to bring people outside of Westchester in to talk to people who are here.
Right, and do you showcase places where they might be able to rent space in Westchester?
So
you didn't do that last year.
No. So right now, I would say to you that that's not going to happen at this event.
No.
Although if someone comes to us and we open up our ears and our eyes for everybody, if we have helped some people make connections and find some space, but until we have a central location, whether it be the North 60 or another alternative, we think that we don't want to be out there touting the work of the real estate folks who do such a great job here.
Why hasn't the IBM property in North County been utilized for that purpose sooner?
You know, there's a lot of opinions on that matter, and I would offer up the following, that
That's a huge complex.
it's a huge complex. You know, I would say 7, 8 years ago, the idea of building a biotech community probably looked like the idea being let's bring a company and relocate them to Westchester. Let's have them pick
not
up.
thinking big time.
Correct. And I think what we've seen, and this is true across all industries. I mean, you can co-working space or
Get
whatnot.
that lease.
That's right.
Get that lease, baby.
And listen, there's value there, and I don't want to downplay that at all. But
Of course not.
Of course not. But what I think the opportunity is for Westchester, and we're still working on figuring out, and the North 60 could be the answer to this. I want to be clear. We need someone with the vision to recognize we need space that has the ability to have 10, 20, 30, 40 different companies coming in and out of there. And I think that's, if someone were to take that on at the IBM Center, we could absolutely fill that.
Well, that is certainly something to really think about strongly and move towards now.
Yes.
I mean, delay is the enemy of invention.
And nothing's quick, and we recognize that, and we think that certainly the signing of the lease for the North 60 was a huge step forward. We know that there's lots of zoning and permits that have to go through, but we've taken a big step.
Time is the enemy here.
Yes, yes.
Time is always the enemy. What have been, is there enough research talent in the county? I think you've already answered this partially, to meet the demand new biotech firms will need in scientists, researchers, if they locate here.
I am amazed at the quality and the skill level of the scientific community here in Westchester. And I'm not just talking about chief science officers. I'm talking about the students that are coming out of our colleges and universities right here in Westchester with advanced science degrees, with skill sets that translate right into the laboratory.
Where do they come from?
So SUNY Purchase, Mercy, Westchester Community College. You have kids coming out of there with amazing science backgrounds. And I'm sure at Manhattanville, all of our schools have science kids coming out. And what's amazing to me, and we just met with the new dean of arts and sciences at SUNY Purchase, 60% of the kids that graduate SUNY Purchase graduate with a science degree.
Wow. That's a stunning fact.
And it's the reaction that everyone when I tell that too. And so they...
Well, everybody surprises me because I don't know too much about what I'm talking about most of the time, so it's an education for me too. But seriously then, do we rival Europe in talent?
So it's a big question, and it's hard. Europe is a big answer, and if we're comparing the United States to Europe, of course, right?
Well, like the France, which appears to be the leader in this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So the answer is I don't want to say rival because I don't have enough quantitative.
Perhaps that was a poor word.
Yes, yes.
Are we competitive?
Yes, that is
Do
correct.
we offer?
That is correct.
High quality.
Without question. Without question. And many biotech companies and the support services in the biotech community, leaders of those companies, even if the companies aren't here in Westchester, their leadership lives here in Westchester. And we know that we can leverage their connection here to build a Westchester that is not designed to compete with New York City or Cambridge or France, but designed to put us on an even playing field to play our part.
Yes, competitiveness is overrated because progress only comes through cooperation.
Correct. That is correct.
Comparing notes, and you inspire me, and I inspire you. And
that is correct. We want to stimulate innovation. That's our goal.
Yes, a very Pollyannic view there, but I mean, it's true.
No, it is true. It is true.
What neglected fields of research are you seeking to partner with?
So, I hate to refer again. I'm not going to refer anything as neglected because I don't want to in any way insult anyone in that space. Overlooked. Excellent.
Right.
Rare diseases. So rare diseases is a huge area, and it's really what brought me.
That's a man who wants to do it.
Yeah. So that is our partner and our friend Antonio Molina, and Antonio is just moved his family. I say back to New York. Now he's not an American citizen. He moved his family. He was over in Madrid. His wife is from the Hudson Valley. And he moved his wife and his daughter back here to New York to continue the progress of the rare disease company that he currently works on. And we think that a rare disease center, a rare disease hub, something where you have expedited support from the FDA, you have unique opportunities from funding sources, and all you need is a champion like Antonio, and Antonio is a champion. We think rare disease is an area that Westchester could be a worldwide leader in research being done.
Now, if he needed space here, would a college be more suited than, say, a former industrial space?
So the answer to what's the most suitable space, unfortunately today, I don't know there's an answer to what is the most suitable space. Most options have some sort of limitation or shortcoming, which is why we are proponents of the idea of a North 60 or a project like that that would have all those resources that someone like Antonio could say, I want to go there, and we have a place for them to land.
So it's important that North 60, in order to be able to do that, has to really do their homework on what all the markets
No
need.
question. And we've been assisting them in that, as that's just one of our roles in trying to evaluate the marketplace. And we have people who aren't Westchester residents, who do not have a professional footprint here in Westchester, but who are involved in the idea and the concept and the ongoing process of identifying markets to build communities, helping to build clusters, and they have said, almost unanimously, Westchester has all of the makings to be a center. You just need to have a place where everyone can come together.
Wow, this
It's
really
exciting.
you're a very excellent enthusiast for this.
Yes, it's
for
exciting.
This field, but I think it's main thing of pulling a real marketing effort together between those who would want to and welcome these companies and projects.
Absolutely, and it's a unique challenge, and we have spoken with all of the leadership groups here in Westchester about, and the economic development groups, about how do we come up with a message, how do we convey what we have to offer to the world outside of Westchester, and the Westchester Biotech Project, we feel that's part of our responsibility to help deliver that message.
And now, given the high cost of locating to New York, is this a problem for Westchester's commitment to research?
So obviously, real estate, cost of living, all these things are certainly challenges that need to be overcome. But as I like to say, anyone who lives here in Westchester can also, let's tout all the positives of being here, whether it's our school systems, whether it's our communities, whether it's access to New York City, Philadelphia, Boston in an easy way. We think that, and again, I don't claim to be able to solve every problem out there, but I think there's enough attributes, positive attributes here in Westchester, that when you are targeting these more mature companies, not startups per se, but more mature companies, the leadership can afford to move here, and like all of our other industries, can go through the process of attracting talent from outside.
But the younger workers can't. That's the problem.
Sure, and it's a problem with every industry, and whether you're a law firm or an accounting firm or an insurance agency, if you're looking to recruit talent and you want younger talent, this is an ongoing challenge. So I don't claim that it's not an issue. I just believe that it's an issue that doesn't warrant not pursuing and moving forward on this project. Just something we have to tackle.
How is your organization funded? This
Yes.
obviously costs money.
Absolutely. So, we are a 501(c) nonprofit organization, and right now we are funded through contributions from partner organizations. And while we do have some bigger ideas, and we're going through sort of a board reflection on what's the best way to go, when we set out, we thought we were going to be something that could be sustainable on a much smaller scale than what we are now. So the opportunities that we've uncovered, the challenges that we think we can solve, have sort of changed our idea of saying, okay, we need to go out and have a new funding strategy.
You have a laundry list of the types of diversified research that you want to do.
So we don't actually conduct the research ourselves. So my interest certainly is focused on many of the things that affected my son Matthew and things that he deals with now, and I think there's a lot of opportunity people working on that right now as well. But the amount of cutting edge research that's going on here right now, and I'm talking about people living in Westchester doing this work, I would say if we just supported them, we could achieve all of our goals.
Yes. Is the county going to aggressively position Westchester as the new research capital? They haven't done that.
So I would say that County Executive Latimer, his Director of Economic Development, Bridget Gibbons, have been very, very supportive of the work that we're doing at the Westchester Biotech Project. They've turned to us for some insight and some guidance on some ideas, and I would say it's premature for that to become a campaign tomorrow, but I think all the building blocks are there, and I think everyone understands as we move forward, we need this unified voice to attract companies here.
Does the Amazon debacle hurt you? Do you think?
Doesn't hurt us directly. I think the way that I've spun this is in a positive way. It shines the light on the potential and the opportunity that could exist if we can get everyone rowing in the same direction. So that's how I look at that.
Well, that's the positive way of looking
Yeah.
at it. I don't think Amazon is dead yet.
No,
They
I
got to
agree.
be crazy to go
I
down
agree.
to that Metroplex in Washington.
I agree. It's probably a
Crazy.
negotiating tactic at this
yes,
point.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree.
But anyway, it really, I am disappointed in Bezos that he isn't a bigger man, you know, on this situation. But that's a problem.
Yes.
You know. Now, how will researchers in Westchester now be recruited to work on the Sophia Antipolis campus?
So
And it's sort of an exchange.
yes, so that is certainly something we are trying to build and facilitate. And the Sophia Antipolis, as Philippe likes to say it, it was the first technology hub ever built in Europe. And it is home to many, many companies, cutting-edge, big companies.
It's massive. I
Massive.
never knew it existed.
Massive.
Yeah.
So we really believe that by starting this dialogue and conversation that we certainly hope, and if for no other reason than I just want to go have our next symposium in Nice, that I think we're going to have that opportunity.
That's a great idea, actually. Yes.
Yes.
Now, question, the symposium coming up
Yes.
at the end of March 27th.
Yes.
What will be the concentration there?
Yeah.
What should the realtors attend, for example?
So, the realtors, I always say, they've got to have their fingers on the pulse of everything that's going on. And what I would say is, while I'm not sure that there's going to be people presenting there who are looking to sign a lease the next day, I think to understand the work that's being done and the fertilization efforts that we are doing certainly is valuable information to have, because what we're doing today is going to result in the tenants of tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, are these partnerships all taxable?
So no, so we are a nonprofit organization. Our relationship with what we call Westchester Biotech Project Europe, this is not a monetary partnership, it is just an agreement to share ideas at the moment.
However, should they ever come
course.
on in, they would be taxable.
Absolutely.
I think that's an important thing, because so much is, you develop, you get so many tax breaks if you're a developer now.
Yes.
And so let's see, we have a few seconds remaining.
Yes.
If someone wants to get involved with some of these partnerships as a student or whatever, or wants to help you spread the word, or who do they call? Absolutely.
So certainly everyone can visit westchesterbiotechproject.org, our website. We have updates and newsletters and lots of information there. I encourage everyone who has even a remote interest in this space, this world, a career, meeting people here. That's what we're here to do. We are here to open doors and foster conversation. So sign up for one of our webinars, come to one of our roundtables, attend one of our symposia, and we will call me, M. Welling at westchesterbiotechproject.org. We will make those introductions. We want to help foster all this. And I will just tell you that most of the events that we do, most of the initiatives that we have undertaken are the result of the community telling us what they want, what they need, problems they're trying to tackle. So we know there's a lot of relevant opportunity here.
Well, Michael Welling, co-founder of Westchester Biotech Project, you have been heard. Thank you very much
much.
for being
Appreciate
on
the
the
time.
program and enlightening all about the biotech revolution.
My pleasure.
Right. John Bailey, good night for People to be Heard.